longer going to be a four-season. How long has that been a plan?
About 10 years. It really has been planned for about 10 years, and the reason it hasn't come about sooner is the fact that in the original 4 seasons we didn't have any other lead singers, so I was kind of stuck or locked into that situation, and we were all partners in the group, so I just stayed on as long as I could until the time came where we could get could find a couple of other lead singers.
You said about 10 years. Now that makes it 1967, which is also, I believe, the time when you had your problems with your ears started.
Yes.
Was that the reason why you decided I must get out of being in the Four Seasons? Because
Oh no, actually that had nothing to do with it. It's just something that we'd planned right from the beginning. In 1966, I started a solo career, a recording career, and it was rather successful. In 1967, I recorded "Can't Take My Eyes Off You," which was a very, very big hit for me in the United States, about 3 million records. And then I had 3 or 4 hits after that. And I never really put that much time in my own career, because I wasn't part of the Four Seasons, and the Four Seasons actually took that much of my time between traveling and recording. So all I did was occasionally go in to record.
spare time stuff.
Yeah. It was sort of treated as though it were a hobby as opposed to a serious venture on my part.
Mm-hmm. So the ear infection really was it was just something that happened along the way, without
Yes.
having any far-reaching effect on the Four Seasons career.
No, the ear situation is something that I've always had and never knew I had. Actually, it's a bone disease, and the correct terminology for what they call it is otosclerosis. It's hardening of the stapes bone in the middle ear. And the stapes bone is very much like a tuning fork that vibrates. And it vibrates the signal to the nerve, to the brain, and that's how you hear. And once you have a problem with that, or it stabilizes and it's not allowed to vibrate anymore, you lose the hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was happening over a period of years. The problem, they really don't know the reasons for the disease, but it's got something to do, I think, with the overproduction of calcium.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have it in joints in their arms, and some people have it with arthritis and whatever,
Sure.
rheumatism.
Definitely nothing to do with standing in front of very loud groups and singing.
No, nothing. Although I'm sure that does a different kind of damage. As you probably know, there are lots of young people who are having terrible hearing problems because of loud music.
Surely. So, the problem that we were faced with in '67 was finding somebody else who could sing lead to become a new Four Seasons,
Right.
or a number.
And I had most of the original members with the group at the time. So it was rather difficult to say to one of the members, okay, you've had it now and it's been nice, get lost, we've found somebody else.
Well, there was a sort of suggestion in the early years that the other members of the group were somewhat anonymous, and you were obviously selected because you were the lead singer, and Bob Gaudio was also fairly well known, but the other members were kind of anonymous, I always felt. But
Yes, they basically did nothing more than background singing, background playing, which in its own way was just as important as anything else. I mean, it had as much to do with having a good show or making great records as the actual lead singer. It's just like the producer being a very important part of the making of a record, and the engineer, and the musicians that are used on the date, the company going out and working the product, and it's a chain reaction of a lot of things that make a success.
sure, but having got two anonymous people, perhaps you could have just said, well, we we want something different now.
Well, you could always do that, but when I'm the kind of an individual that was basically lived by his word for all of my life, I should say, not most, all.
Hope you enjoyed looking at these foreign Frankie Valli 45 picture sleeves and records. Thank you.